very much. And I'll return to the issue of fairness for Sheffield, but Assalamu alaikum. It's a great privilege both to represent our city in Parliament, but it's also a great privilege to be with you here this evening to mark the birth of the Prophet Muhammad. And I'm delighted that you're marking it with this sort of event, which brings our different communities together, because we know that there are those within all our communities who would promote division within us and between us. And we need, as many have said, to use all our energies and all our efforts to focus on those things which draw us together, those things which unite us, because together we're stronger and better. The Sheffield that I was brought up in the 1960s was a fairly monocultural city, a very different city, a single culture city. I brought my son up in the Sheffield of the 1990s and always told him that he was luckier than I was, because the Sheffield of today is a city of many cultures, one which is richer and stronger and better, because we have welcomed so many people from around the world, some fleeing persecution, some simply wishing to build a better life for themselves. And I'm proud of many things about Sheffield. Many of the special things about Sheffield. And one of them is the tolerance and the friendship that exists within our city. I'm proud that we made ourselves the first city of sanctuary, declaring in a very positive way that we welcomed people from around the world, and that we would support them, and that we would embrace them in our community. It's an initiative now that has been followed by many towns and cities around the country. But as with so many things, Sheffield was first. I think that events like this, and indeed I know many of the other activities organised by your centre, and indeed by the mosque in Wolsey Road, are important in promoting an understanding of Islam, because we have to recognise that there is much misunderstanding and many who seek to falsely project your faith to others to cause division. We have to, in that process, recognise, and I think those of us, political leaders like me, have to recognise the importance that Islam has played in developing the society that we live in now. We often talk about the Western tradition, and we talk about its roots in Greek philosophy, we talk about its roots in Rome, as if those were the bedrock of the modern society that we've built. We forget the contribution that Islam made during that golden age of Islam, when in this country and in most of Europe we were in what was deemed the Dark Ages. It was Islam, scientific advances, philosophy, medicine, some of the greatest architecture in the world that kept civilization going, and was as much a base of the modern society that we enjoy as the traditions that we draw from Greek and Roman civilizations as well. And that needs to be better understood within our country, because it demonstrates what common roots we share and what common values that we hold. Among those values, as Bishop Stephen has said, is the issue of fairness. And it's something that is being challenged at the moment with our big cities and some of the most vulnerable, facing some of the most difficult consequences of policies and funding allocation. And that's why we've launched a campaign for a fair deal for Sheffield. And it has brought together both those of us who provide political leadership with those faith leaders, with leaders from the voluntary sector as well. And I'm delighted to have your support and grateful for it. And never missing an opportunity, I've brought along some petitions tonight, which I will leave, and I hope that everybody will take the opportunity to sign them. But let me also respond to some of the issues that were mentioned earlier. On Kashmir, tomorrow when I go to Westminster, one of my first meetings is of the all-party parliamentary group on Kashmir, of which I'm a member. And I was delighted recently to be speaking at the conference organised by Councillor Mohammed Maroof in the town hall on Kashmir. Again, bringing people together from across the city to focus on the injustice that has been so long in not being addressed, and to try to focus attention, as we are in Parliament, on the just rights of the Kashmiri people for a vote to determine their own futures. And indeed, on the question of Palestine, a deep wrong which the international community needs to focus on ever more strongly. And again, it's an issue that I've been involved in over a period of time, and have set up a Labour Friends of Palestine, as a Labour Member of Parliament, group here in Sheffield, which Councillor Ben Curran, who's with us tonight, is coordinating. So those are indeed important questions. Those of us who are privileged to provide a voice for the city need to raise them, and I can assure you we will continue to do so. But let me simply say again how grateful I am for you inviting me along this evening, how much I've enjoyed listening to the points that have been made, and how much you can count on me continuing to work with you in the shared values that we all have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Also coming to the end of the event today, but before this event is finished, Usmania Education Centre will be presenting gifts to the children who will achieve success in their annual exams. So I'd like to invite the organisers of this, and we hope the guests today will help us present those gifts to the children. Mahmoud and Muhammad, would you like to come forward with the details, please?
ये 5 क्लासें हमारे यहाँ पहली क्लास जो है ये क्लास नंबर 1 इसमें जो इनको जो इनाम देंगे मोहतरम जनाब मास्टर बशीर साहब, जिनका हमारे संगठन का साथ बड़ा तावन और हमेशा मर्चा किया हमारे कामों में, उन्होंने हमारे साथ तावन किया। और ये बच्चों की क्लास है और मैं टीचरों को कहता हूँ छोटे बच्चों को इधर भेजते हैं। इनमें जो पहली पोजीशन हासिल की है ये ज़ोहरा आज़ाद है, दूसरी पोजीशन आयशा महमूद और तीसरी पोजीशन फौजिया बेगम। ये छोटी बच्चियाँ हैं, उन बच्चियों की तरफ हैं, वो उनको इधर भेजें। इनको हमारे मोहतरम जनाब मास्टर बशीर साहब उनको इनामात देंगे। और इसके बाद जो दूसरी क्लास है ये बच्चियों की है, दूसरी क्लास ये इनमें पहली पोजीशन हासिल की है योरिदा ने, और दूसरी मारिया अली ने, और तीसरी अरीना ने। बच्चियों की जो पहली क्लास है इसमें पहली पोजीशन हासिल की है ज़ोहरा आज़ाद, दूसरी आयशा महमूद और तीसरी फौजिया बेगम। ये बच्चियाँ तीनों यहाँ आएंगी और मोहतरम मास्टर बशीर साहब इनको इनाम देंगे। यहाँ पे ये छोटी बच्चियाँ हैं, यहाँ इनको भेज दिया जाए। और जो बच्चियों की 2 बड़ी क्लासें उनको इनाम दिए जाएंगे। उनमें दूसरी क्लास है क्लास नंबर 2। First girl, first class. The first is Zahra Azad, second Aisha Mahmood, and third Fozia Begum. They all will come here in this place, and most of Master Bashir Sahib will give them prize. और ये दूसरी क्लास बच्चों की दूसरी क्लास है। इसमें बच्चों की दूसरी क्लास है जो इसमें पहली पोजीशन हासिल की है यरीदा ने, दूसरी मारिया अली ने और तीसरी अरीना ने। और इनको इनाम देगी मोहतरम हमारे हाजी खालिद हुसैन साहब के घर वाले जो यासीन की वालदा है, उन बच्चों के साथ में इनको इनाम दिया जाएगा। ये दूसरी क्लास जो बच्चियों की है, पहली पोजीशन यरीदा, दूसरी मारिया अली और तीसरी अरीना। इनको इनाम देगी यासीन की वालदा जो हमारे मोहतरम हाजी खालिद साहब मरहूम जो इस सेंटर के बानी बुनियादी हमारे भाई थे, उन्होंने इसकी बुनियाद रखी, तो ये उनके घर वाले हैं, ये बच्चों को इनाम देंगे। बच्चों की तीसरी क्लास है, ये मुअल्लिमात और हिफ्ज़ करने वाली बच्चियाँ हैं और इनमें पहली पोजीशन हासिल की है ज़ारा हुसैन, दूसरी किरण कौसर, तीसरी सबा महमूद। और इनको इनाम देंगी मोहतरमा इफ़त साहबा जो हमारे सेंटर के मामला है और हमेशा उन्होंने तावन किया है। बच्चों के साथ में इनको इनाम दिया जाएगा। चौथी क्लास है, ये बच्चों की है। इसमें पहली पोजीशन हासिल की है उवैस, दूसरी दानियाल शबीर और तीसरी जैयान। ये इनकी पोजीशनें हैं और इनको इनाम देंगे जनाब मोहम्मद अली साहब जो पाकिस्तान मुस्लिम सेंटर के चेयरमैन, या पाकिस्तान मुस्लिम सेंटर के चेयरमैन हुसैन साहब। पांचवी क्लास है, बच्चों की क्लास है। इसमें पोजीशन हासिल की है अली हुसैन, पहली पोजीशन हासिल किया शाहिद महमूद, दूसरी अली हुसैन और तीसरी शरीयत हुसैन। इसमें पहली पोजीशन शाहिद महमूद और दूसरी अली हुसैन और तीसरी शरीयत हुसैन। और इनको इनाम देकर
Excuse me, can I ask everybody to be quiet, please? People are struggling to hear the names of the participants that need to come forward. So can you please be quiet for a few more minutes before the event is finished?
तो अभी हम कौन सा से करते हैं वो कैसा नहीं कुरान कबूल किया कैसा नहीं है कौन सा से नाम देगा कैसा नहीं कैसा नहीं मौजूद आगे आ जाए ये बच्चा जिसने कुरान करीम कबूल किया कैसा नहीं है
कैसली
और इसको इसके टीचर नाम देंगे क्लास में
switch off.